in the heart of Lagos, beneath the Ojeligba Bridge where buses roar and tired feet rush past, a boy lies silently. No one knows where he came from. No one asks. He has no family, no name, only an empty stomach, and the cold ground beneath him. Tonight, like every other night, he sleeps on flattened cartons, using a nylon bag as a pillow. The noise of the city fades, but his hunger remains. His small body curls up in the shadows as bright lights dance far above him, lights that belong to a world he doesn't feel part of. The next morning, before the first bus honks, Zubby is already awake. Dust clings to his face. His lips are dry and cracked, and his eyes carry the weight of another night survived. He picks up a plastic bowl and begins his usual walk, one step after another, searching for mercy in a city too busy to care. He approaches a group of people, eating by the roadside, and gently stretches out his bowl. No words, just hope. Some ignore him, some look at him with disgust. One woman frowns and waves him away angrily, her face twisted with irritation. Still, he moves on. At a local food spot, he waits until the customers are done eating. He sees a leftover bone on a plate and reaches for it, only for the food seller to shove his hand away. "Don't touch that. Go away," she snaps. Zubby says nothing. He walks away again, silent, hungry, alone. Later, a stranger stepping into a tricycle drops a crumpled 50 note on the ground. Zubby picks it up slowly, staring at it as if it's gold. "Thank you, sir," he whispers, voice low and shaky. That night, the hunger returns in full force. He sits back under the bridge, staring at the sky between cracks in the concrete. He hums quietly to himself a soft lullaby, a tune he can't remember learning, a song that maybe once came from the arms of a mother he doesn't know. His eyes grow heavy, but the pain in his stomach won't let him rest. And then, everything fades. Zubby collapses just a few steps away from a roadside food stall. The heat from the frying pan, the scent of puff in the air, all of it disappears as his vision turns black. A woman rushes out from behind the stall, her face lined with age, her eyes wide with concern. She kneels beside him, lifting his weak body into her arms. She brings him inside and pours a small cup of hot pap, then gently places 2 pieces of akara on a plate. Zubby eats slowly at first, then faster, as if his life depends on it. The woman watches him, her heart heavy. "What's your name?" she asks softly. Zubby looks up, his lips tremble. "My name is Zubby," he says. She freezes. She says nothing, just stares at him as if something about him stirs a memory she cannot place. Her name was Mama Tawa, and from that moment, Zubby's life began to change, though not in the way anyone could have predicted. Morning came slowly. Zubby opened his eyes, unsure of where he was. He wasn't under the bridge. The sound of speeding cars had been replaced by the faint bubbling of hot oil. He could smell it. Puff, puff, and something sweet. He sat up carefully. The wooden bench creaked beneath him. His shirt clung to his skin, still damp from sweat and sleep. And just a few steps away, she stood. Mama Tawa! She was already frying, flipping each golden ball with practiced ease. The sun hadn't fully risen, but she had. Zubby watched quietly. He didn't know if he was allowed to stay. He didn't know what to say. Should he leave? Should he thank her? Would she chase him away like the others? Just then, she looked over her shoulder and smiled gently. "You're awake. Good. Come. Take this tray inside." Zubby blinked. She wasn't frowning. She wasn't shouting. She was talking to him. He stood up slowly, legs still weak. He took the tray carefully and carried it to the back of the kiosk. That day, he helped Mama Tawa wash the food bowls. He fetched water. He arranged firewood. She didn't treat him like a stranger. She didn't ask him to go. By noon, she handed him a cup of cold zobo and a small plate of jollof rice. He ate in silence, slowly watching her, unsure of what was happening. Was this kindness? By evening, as she packed up for the day, she turned to him and said, "You can sleep here again tonight, behind the shop, but don't scatter the place." Zubby nodded, eyes wide, voice low. "Thank you, Ma." And for the first time in years, he felt something unfamiliar stir inside him. Safety. That night, as he folded the only shirt he owned, something small fell from its pocket. A round silver locket. Old, rusted. He stared at it, confused. He didn't even know it was there. He picked it up, brushed off the dust, and opened it slowly. Inside was a tiny photo of a baby wrapped in a white cloth. Behind it, a faint engraving. To my son Z. Zubby's heart skipped. He didn't understand the picture. He didn't recognize the face. But for the first time, he wondered, who was I before the streets? It had been only 5 days since Mama Tawa opened her arms to him. 5 quiet, peaceful days where he swept the floor, fetched water, and helped fry Puff Puff. He even smiled once or twice. But that morning, everything changed. Mama Tawa's voice rang through the kiosk like thunder. Where's the money I kept in this bag? Zubby froze. He was crouched at the corner, folding wrappers as she had asked. His heart skipped. I put 2,000 naira in this zip pouch. It's gone. Completely gone. She shouted again, panic rising. Zubby stood confused, staring at her. Ma, I didn't see any money. I swear. She cut him off. So it just disappeared? Am I mad? You're the only one that sleeps here. Zubby tried to speak, but his voice cracked. He had never stolen a thing from her, not even leftover akara. Tears welled in his eyes, but Mama Tawa's face was already set. Hurt, angry, disappointed. I should have known. I don't even know where you're from. No wonder you were roaming the streets. Zubby dropped his gaze. His throat tightened. There was nothing he could say that would change her mind. Pack your things. Leave. Now. He didn't argue. He picked up the old nylon bag with the locket hidden inside. No words. No goodbye. He stepped out of the kiosk, one foot after the other. And just like that, he was back. The Ojelagba bridge looked different now. Colder, meaner. Zubby curled back onto his flattened carton. The hunger returned. But worse than the hunger was the silence in his chest. He had almost called her mama, almost believed he was safe. Now, he was just a street boy again. It had been 2 days since Mama Tawa kicked Zubby out. He sat by the roadside, arms wrapped around his knees. 2 days without food, watching the world move on like he didn't exist. The streets of Lagos didn't wait for anyone. Zubby tried to wash windshields at the traffic light, but older boys shoved him away, calling him new blood. They beat him when he refused to leave. One of them took the 50 he had hidden in his sock. That night, the rain came. No warning. No mercy. His flattened carton turned to mush. He crawled under an abandoned bus, shivering as the cold bit into his skin. His bones ached. His stomach twisted. His only warmth, the locket clutched tight in his fist. The next morning, just as the sun rose over the rooftops, a group of street boys found him. One of them threw him a piece of bread. You want more? He smirked. Follow us. Zubby followed. He didn't know why. Maybe it was hunger. Maybe he was just tired of being alone. They led him into a crowd near Balagan Market and pointed at a woman's handbag. Distract her. One whispered, just bump her. We'll do the rest. Zubby froze, but they were already moving. A phone disappeared into a pocket. The woman screamed. The boys vanished. Zubby stood there confused, scared until people started shouting, thief! Catch Am! He ran, through stalls, down alleys, over drainages. He ran like his life depended on it. And somehow it did. That night, Zubby returned to the bridge, bruised, starving, alone. He held the locket and stared at it for a long time, then raised his arm to throw it into the gutter. But he couldn't. He lowered it slowly, pressed it to his chest, and cried. Across the city, Mama Tawa sat on a stool, staring at her flour sack. Something felt off. She reached in. At the bottom, tucked in a fold, was a 200 note. Her hands trembled. She hadn't been robbed. Her heart sank like stone. Later that evening, she walked through the local stalls asking for him. Have you seen the boy that used to stay with me? Small, quiet, dark face. No one had. She sat down beside her kiosk and covered her face. God, what have I done? But on the other side of Lagos, Zubby sat under the bridge, watching cars pass by, whispering to himself, I shouldn't have hoped. By now, Zubby was used to being invisible. People walked past him like he didn't exist. He had learned not to expect kindness, only dust, hunger, and silence. But one day, something changed. It started with a car, a gray Toyota, parked across the street near the foot of the bridge. Zubby noticed it as he sat on the sidewalk, arms wrapped around his knees, watching traffic blur past. At first, he didn't think much of it. Cars came and went all the time. But the next day, it was there again. Same spot, same car, engine off, windows rolled up. The third day, it came back. And this time, the driver's window rolled down. Zubby turned his face away, acting like he didn't notice. But the voice still came, calm and deep. "Hey boy, what's your name?" Zubby froze. He didn't turn, didn't speak. "Do you remember where you're from?" Zubby stood up slowly. He didn't answer, just walked away, heart pounding. The man didn't follow. He didn't drive off. He just watched. That night, back under the bridge, Zubby couldn't sleep. He held the locket in his hand, staring at the faded photo inside. To my son Z, that Z had haunted him for years. And now, a man in a gray car was asking questions no one else had ever asked. What if he knows something? What if he's the one who left me? The thoughts circled his mind like restless spirits. And in that moment, for the first time in a long time, Zubby wasn't just hungry, he was scared. Zubby was tired of being followed. The gray car had returned again. Same time, same place. It just sat there waiting, watching. But this time, the window rolled down. A calm voice called out, "Hey, you remind me of someone." Zubby didn't answer. The man stepped out slowly, carefully. "My name is Mr. Raymond," he said. "My brother's son went missing years ago. You look like him." Zubby frowned. "I'm just a street boy." "You've made a mistake." But Mr. Raymond shook his head. "If there's even a small chance you're him, I want to take you to my brother." Zubby hesitated. The streets were harsh, but they were familiar. Still, something about the man's face, the gentleness in his eyes. Zubby nodded once. "I'll go with you." Zubby sat quietly in the back of the car. His heart raced as they approached a quiet estate in Acadia. When they arrived, the gates opened slowly and Zubby froze. He had seen this house before, in his dreams. They entered the living room. It was big, clean, quiet. Then Zubby saw it. A photo frame on the wall. A woman smiling gently, holding a baby boy. His hands shook. He pulled out the locket from his nylon bag, opened it. It was the same photo. Everyone in the room gasped. Mr. Raymond stepped forward. "That's my sister-in-law, Adobe." Zubby felt dizzy. "That's my mother." Mr. Raymond made a call. That same evening, a DNA test was arranged. Simple, quick, quiet. Zubby didn't sleep that night. He sat by the window, staring at the locket, wondering, what if this was all a mistake? What if he didn't belong anywhere? The next day, the results came in. Everyone gathered around as the envelope was opened. The room went still. "It's a match," the doctor said. 100%. "Zubby is your son." Mr. Raymond's brother, a tall man with tired eyes, broke down in tears. He knelt before Zubby. "I thought I lost you forever." Zubby didn't speak. He only hugged the man tightly, the locket pressed between them. The house felt warmer now. Zubby was given a bath, clean clothes, and a room of his own. He stood in front of a mirror, barely recognizing himself. "So, this is what it feels like," he whispered, "to be wanted." Photos of his mother filled the hallway. Her laughter now lived in the walls. He learned that she had tried to protect him, that she ran away because of threats, that she died, but never stopped loving him. Mr. Raymond placed a hand on his shoulder. "You were never just a street boy. You were always part of this family." Zubby smiled faintly, and for the first time in his life, he believed it.